on the second half of My Hometown.
If your skin could talk, would you listen?
As your skin, I forgive you. I forgive you for poking and popping me when I broke out at 14. I forgive you for that awful belly ring hole you left in me when you were 15. I forgive you for damaging me before prom, on spring break, and at tanning salons when you were 16, 17, 18. But I'm your skin, and if you continue to tan, I hope you can forgive me. Forgive me when wrinkles begin to show and I start developing age spots. Forgive me if I develop melanoma when you're only 22. So please, I'm asking you to stop. Stop tanning now. Our future depends on it.
Protect your skin from melanoma, the second most common cancer in young women 15 to 29 years old. And protect your future. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
My Hometown is made possible by Anton Media Group. For more of your local community news, you may visit AntonMediaGroup.com. If you have a story to share or want information about subscriptions, you may call 516-747-8282.
WHPC.
And now we return to My Hometown.
We're back on My Hometown. I'm your host, Bill Horan, along with Nassau Community College student Zach Turkel. Our special guest today is Melecia Munroe, creator of The Power of Networking, right here in Nassau County. Melecia, how does one prepare for the job market? Let's say someone's coming out of college, or maybe they had that first semi-temporary job for a while. How do you advise them to prepare?
Again, it's like a counseling session. The first thing I like to ask them is, where do they see themselves? What steps have they taken thus far? And what do they like to do? And I look at also their past work history. It helps me get an idea of where they've enjoyed the most. So if I see you've been in a position for quite some time, you're either comfortable or you really enjoy it. And if I see you're jumping around, then it's telling me that certain industries or certain roles may not be for you. So that counseling session helps me establish how do I prepare you for the job market.
Yeah, that's something that I've learned as well. People have told me that it's better if you stayed in a job for, let's say, 20 years than jumping back and forth from different jobs. That's just going to look a little odd on your resume, right?
Yeah, it sends a red flag that either you're not sure or that you're not going to be loyal to the company. And also, it's going to be a concern if we take you on and invest all this time in training and development. Are you going to jump ship? So those things cost money for a company. Every time you train and hire a person, the cost and the time that it takes for that company to develop and whatever tools they use to train, it's a cost factor for them.
So you're like seriously the good doctor when someone comes in, and I mean this. I might come in and say, "Doctor, I have a cough. What can you give me for my cough?" She looks at me and says, "Well, let's see." And she checks, my breathing and chest. And the cough might be inflammation in my lungs. Mm-hmm. It might be congestion. There could be other things. Right. You're looking behind it because we could just keep job hopping and not be really happy. As you said, that's a sign of unhappiness.
Yes.
If you liked it, you'd probably stay there flipping hamburgers. But most people want to move up the line, be a manager,
Definitely.
Vice president, whatever. And you get behind the scenes.
I do.
them.
I dig deep. I look at your education level. Ask about your family. Your home life, what's going on. So again, everything's confidential. As an HR professional, I pride myself on that. So if someone sits with me, it doesn't go any further than that. It's just you and I. We talk about every and anything. And I can tell if someone's stressed. I can tell if something's kind of holding them back, because the jobs we take, it's a huge reflection of who we are personally. Like I said, I fell into HR by accident. It fit me personally and professionally. I love to network. So being in HR and recruiting and hiring and interviewing, there's a lot of networking that comes with that. So I dig deep. I want to understand, why are you unhappy? And hearing the stories they may tell me helps me understand, well, this is why you've been hopping, and this is why you've been in this place for so long.
I go back to the doctor again, because finding that, how many people have you heard that said, gee, I went to 8 doctors and it was the 9th one who finally found what was bothering me or where this pain was coming from or the cure. But if you can get at it, saving someone 2, 3, 10 years of the wrong job, even if they're making decent money at that job, if they're not doing something they love, they're spending 40 to 50, 60 hours, and now even weekends with cell phones and computers writing to you. But if you enjoy it, this is what you love doing, whatever it is, sportscasting, accounting, teaching math. There are teachers who just love being out there with the children and coaching them, and you help them find that.
Yeah,
so.
it feels good. It feels good.
Now, let's flip the switch. What should the applicant do before they come to see you?
Before they come to see me, be receptive to constructive criticism. I think that's very important, because if we're going to work well, you need to be open to hearing the raw, true feedback, because it's very nurturing. I'm very nurturing in the process, but I'm also very real about what I'm seeing. So if I'm seeing that you're falling and that you're making very bad mistakes and hurting yourself personally and professionally, I will tell you this is why it's crippled you for so long. And sometimes people need that outside person to kind of bring it all together, versus just your friend or your spouse or your children, because not that you don't respect it, but now hearing it from someone on the outside, it kind of ties everything and makes okay, if she's saying it, then everyone else must be seeing the same thing.
Melecia, I know our audience probably hearing this, if they've just tuned in or missed the first part, is saying, this sounds just what I need, my daughter needs, my brother needs. So if they want to contact you, give us all that contact information, and we'll tell our audience now get that pen and pencil handy.
Yeah,
Please give it to us.
You can catch me on social media, The Power of Networking on Facebook, and on Instagram, Power of Networking. The icon you'll see is the world, so you'll see a blue world icon. And you can reach me directly by email, Melecia, Melecia Munroe, Munroe @hotmail.com, or you can call me directly or text me 347-420-9189.
Excellent, and if we can, we'll try to get that in one more time. So if you've been really lazy and didn't get that pencil and paper, get it out.
Yeah.
Don't be like Zach. Don't procrastinate. Zach, you had a question.
Yes, I do. Mel, let's say someone is wanting to prepare for an interview, but they've probably gone through many interviews and they've done something wrong. How does someone need to prepare for an interview? What do you recommend?
I always, time is of the essence. You have to always consider the people that are going to meet with you. So I always say, plot out the route that you're taking to the interview. How long is it going to take you? If you think that there might be a chance of traffic, give yourself an extra half an hour, 45 minutes to get there, because being late is not a good thing. And I say that because you don't know the person on the other end that's interviewing you, how their schedule has been, if maybe they carved out 10, 20 minutes to meet with you. And, so if you're late, you've now reduced your time to see that person and to make a good impression. So plotting out the time to get there, your attire, what will you be wearing? Wear something that's comfortable, that makes you feel good, because when you look good, you feel good. And you're able to relay a certain confidence in front of a person. So if your attire fits your energy, then you will convey a lot of great things in your interview. And think about how you want to convey your responses and the questions they may answer. Understand the industry. Look at the job description. If the job description has a certain amount of details as to what they're looking for, look back into your work history and see how do you translate some of that into what they're looking for.
Now, Mel, your company is called The Power of Networking. And I know most people just feel, walk into a room and I'll give you my card and you give me your card. And from what I understand, that's probably the absolute worst way to do things. So what are the good things about networking? What little tips can you give us that's going to make the world of difference?
One thing I will say, networking does not necessarily have to be, a suit and tie environment. It can be anywhere. So if you have your business card, that's great, but you need to let your words speak for itself, and your energy, your actions, because giving someone your card sometimes is not enough. They need to know what's behind that card. Who are you? Let them hear you speak. Let them feel that energy and that genuineness of whatever it is you're trying to convey. So I think just be yourself and be genuine in what you're trying to relay, so that people know that you're serious about, if you're networking and you're looking for an opportunity, let them know that you're serious, because people get business cards every day.
I went to a networking event once, and this fellow I went with, Zach, was a very good networker. And I kind of looked for a person standing over there, and I would talk to him because they were alone.
Right.
And later he said to me, he goes, I look for the most successful person. Who wants that loser in the corner? If he's or she's just standing there. Now, they might be a multimillionaire, they might be just quiet. But he said, I look for someone prestigious, if they're well-dressed, if they appear successful, because I want to attach myself. And he wasn't being greedy in saying that, but I thought the strategy was very good. I kind of looked for the loner. Well, if no one will talk to him, I'll talk to him or her. And sure, I got the oddball in the corner, and he got the executive up front. He did a lot better at that networking event than I did.
You see, I'm glad you said that, because be careful how you judge a book by its cover, because you'd be surprised. Sometimes the wealthiest person may not be the person dressed in a great suit and tie. They may be the person, like you said, that may look like the oddball to someone else. They're in the corner. They're observing.
Well, I picked Zach, so I lost once already, and he picked me, so we know we're not good at picking people across from a room, so we've given up on that.
Yes. Mel, I want to ask this question because this is probably something that I think the listeners would like to hear, and I think you would love to answer this question. What are some of the worst things you've seen people do during the interview process?
I want to hear that one. That's good, Zach.
In your experience.
The worst. I've seen people ask personal questions of the interviewer. So, they may see, let's say, a display of their family on the desk, and they may ask questions. So, how old is your daughter? How long have you been married? They're asking personal questions, and I think the intention was to kind of get a little closer on the other side, but there's ways to go about it versus asking a little too personal. And another thing I've seen, which sometimes people don't realize, so let's say you come into a building, you're pulling into the building, the parking lot, you walk into the building, you get up in the elevator. I've seen people have conversations on the phone. It could be a not so good conversation. They're arguing, and lo and behold, the same person that's in the elevator that overheard their conversation was the person they were interviewing with. So,
that's a good. So, in other words, once you're within a radius of that building, and I guess even you could cut off the person who's interviewing you or the vice president. Coming into the park, I've heard that happen.
Yes,
but a very good point. So, if you're in the elevator and you're saying, "Yeah, I'm going to rock this," or "I got this made," or something, you may be standing next to that, or his or her assistant. Or secretary.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because when you get off the elevator now, the person that's at the front desk, he or she may not love their job, and that's the gatekeeper. So you really want to make sure that you have the best communication with that person at the front desk. In the past, I remember getting my job because the person at the front desk gave a recommendation and said, she's the only person that we've ever interviewed that gave me the utmost respect. And the flow was great, but she said I gave her that respect, and she recommended the person hire me because of that.
Wow, you really never know.
You never know.
Even as we said before, it may be the most unlikely person in the room, but that might be, in some smaller company, that might be the boss's mother, brother, sister, uncle.
Very much so.
Who knows? It's what they say goes. Mel, this has been so interesting. Before we go further, and actually we're getting short on time, please give us the contact information. If someone wants to know more about the power of networking, and certainly I advise them to talk to you, if for no other reason, free food, and Zach's going to be there. You'll get made him, but give us all that contact information.
Sure, I'm going to go backwards, so you can reach me 347-420-9189. You can call me or text.
Say that again, because some people may not be that fast to write it down.
347-420-9189. Feel free to text me or call and say, how did you hear about me? Email Melecia, Melecia Munroe, Munroe @hotmail.com, or on social media on Facebook, The Power of Networking, or Instagram @Power of Networking.
And do yourself a favor. Make the next 20, 30, 40 years of life more enjoyable. Give yourself a shot. Maybe you won't learn anything, but boy, if you find that perfect job, wouldn't it be nice to get up every morning? You can't wait to get to work with pets, to work with flowers, to work with numbers or children, whatever is your preference. We'd like to thank our special guest today, Melecia Munroe, creator of The Power of Networking. You've been listening to Bill Horan and Zach Turkel on My Hometown. Thanks for listening.